if you're like me that just want to get things done faster, Framer is just the answer to everything. Today I'll be showing you how to create your own personal portfolio the lazy way, without even tweaking, pixels around. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Yeah, I know it's hard. You probably have just one portfolio you have started for months. You have been procrastinating on it. You have watched countless tutorials on YouTube, and it's not still helping in bringing out that inspiration to, create. Please read this music. That was ever going to motivate him. I'm not here to motivate you. Let's just move on into the real thing, because this is not a motivational channel. We don't do that here. So how do we go about this idea of, creating a portfolio without facing stress? The answer for that is Wireframer. Wireframer is just like an AI built-in feature in Framer, where we have to input a prompt and in turn it will generate a responsive design. That sounds easy, right? So let me show you guys how to go about that. The first thing you want to do to access the Wireframer tool in Framer is you go over to the insert menu at the top, and it's the first menu you see when you open up this tab. This one will describe how we want our portfolio site to look like in prompt. Then need to turn the prompt into a fully polished design on our canvas. Get our pre-made prompt here to spoon feed you in case if you don't know what you want. Since we are creating a portfolio, let's just go with this prompt and see what we can tweak. And say add a hero text and an image banner. Then I would like to add this logo links on the hero section. We can just input that here also. So let's just say also add logo links on the hero section. Also, we need a section to display our portfolio. Then add an image section to display my portfolio. I think this is ready to go. One thing about Framer is this: inputting a generic prompt will give you a generic output. So if you really know what you want, just put that here and run it. So I'm just going to click this and let Framer do the thinking, and in a matter of seconds or minutes, it's going to generate this design on the canvas. As you can see, it's already generating this text. I'm still wondering how this Wireframer knows my name. Do I guess it's from maybe creating of a Framer account? So you can see it's creating portfolio. I think it's already done, so let me just check everything. And voila, you can see that the design it generated is exactly what we describe on the Wireframer input. Because the hero section, I said add a hero section text, which is this, and add a banner. Then I was very specific in adding a logo links on the hero section, which is exactly what you are seeing here. Then the last section on this prompt, I said add an image section to display my portfolio, which is what you're seeing here. If you feel like there are more things you did like to add, maybe like an FAQ section or maybe a price list, you can just input it here. Let's just say add a pricing list, and we can just run it. But before we do that, you can see that the other suggestion that Wireframer is actually giving you to add maybe a navigation bar, or add a footer, or add more text. I mean, this is mind-blowing because Framer is actually doing more of the heavy liftings for you. So let me just add this pricing list before we add our navigation at the top. After it's done doing its thinking, moving down to the last section, you can now see the new pricing section that we describe on the Wireframer. And you can see how clean the layout is. It's not only clean but also responsive on other breakpoints. So you don't need to worry about responsiveness, because if we were to preview this, reducing the viewport will show you how responsive the whole thing is. So Wireframer is not just only creating sections for you, but it's also utilizing the basic fundamentals of responsiveness, which is utilizing stack throughout its prompting. Because if we were to go down to the pricing list, you can see how responsive this is. So if you are someone that is just starting out in using Framer and you're finding it quite hard, you can just use Wireframer to study how it's creating this responsive design. So if there are more sections you did like to add, you simply write more prompt, and the other suggestions Framer will always give you. Like if I want to add like an FAQ section, you can just click this and it will generate it for you without you even directly inputting the prompt. After running that prompt from Framer suggestions, you can now see our new FAQ section. You know what's more fascinating about this is that it's also interactive. Moving down to the FAQ section, clicking this plus will show you the drop down state of this particular question. Same thing applies for other ones, is fully responsive. Framer is just doing everything for you. You don't really need to care about setting up a component and linking this particular variant to create this kind of interaction. But there again, there are some limitations to this, because one thing I've discovered about using Wireframer is this: it already has these sections backend in the Framer, I don't know, metaverse or or server, it's just for you to do the prompting and to just pull in these sections into your design. Because if I was to impute this prompt which says add a gradient color on the hero section, let's run this. It's done prompting, it's done thinking, but we can't see any changes on the hero section, because on this prompt it says I've updated the hero section on your portfolio homepage to include a gradient background, but we can't see any graded background. So you just have to do some things manually. Talking about customization, you can actually tweak the text, add new images to fill in all these sections, because all these are generic text. You can just fill them to what best fits your preference. Like on the hero section, I can just change it to a product designer. Everything here is editable. Same thing applies for the banner image. You can just go to the properties and go over to fill. So you can just choose anyone here from your gallery and you just add that on your design. But I have an idea. Let's step up this prompting thing on another level, which is using a plugin called Workshop to create high-end interactions for our design. Going over to framer.com/workshop, this will show me all the interactions, all the customizable interactions I can use this plugin called Workshop to generate just by describing it. Moving over to the interactions, you can use this particular plugin to create. An example of them is this glow effect. As you can see, while hovering through this text, you can see the kind of interaction it's creating. You can also use this plugin to generate a progress bar. Then even this scrabbler or scrabbling effect you can see here. Then the next thing, which is on another level, it's using this plugin to generate this tilt effect you can see on this particular card. I mean, this is some A-level thing going on here. Next up is this particular slider effect. We create this blur effect when you try to slide this image just like this. All this is done by prompting, and you know the best part, this prompt are actually here for you to copy and paste. So just click this and you see the exact prompt they use in generating this kind of tilty effect on this card. So I would like to create something like this. All we have to do here is just to click this and copy this prompt and head back to Framer, where I'll be showing you guys on how to create this interaction. You can go back to the plugin menu and you will see the Workshop plugin that we are going to be using. But in case if you don't see this, you can just search for it and it will pop up. So I'm simply going to run this. These are suggestions. You can just impute and run them, then use them in your design. But like I said, we want to create this tilty effect that when we hover through a card or an image, it will create this kind of interaction. We have already copied the prompt, but let's just copy that once more to make sure we have everything aligned. So go back to Framer and impute the prompt here and let it run. So it's more like the Wireframer tool, just that this one is a plugin that generates component interactions for you. Because if you take a look at this place, you can see the code that is running on the background of this frame. So let's just wait for it to is done prompting. When it's done prompting, it will create this component for you to impute whatever image you want to create that interaction. If you take a look at this asset menu, you can see a new option which says Workshop. This tilt card is a particular component we just generated now. Let me show you something really fascinating. So I'm going to click this and you will see all the lines of code that this particular plugin has actually run for us to create this kind of interaction. I mean, this is really mind-blowing that a plugin can create these lengthy lines of code for that interaction that we typed in on the prompt. I'm not a developer, but I know one thing is sure. To create this kind of interaction is going to take a day or two to get to this point. On your right hand side is a preview menu to preview this particular code component we have generated. So let's head back to the home page. I'll be adding an image to this tilt card component. If you go back to the properties menu, you can see this particular section for this particular component. So I'm going to be adding an image here. I would like to add it to this particular placeholder that we have here. So I'm just going to change the width and height to 475 and 475 here. Then I'll hit Ctrl X to cut the component. So I'll select this frame here and hit Ctrl and V. So this is down here. Let's see how this component works. So scrolling down, hovering through this, you can now see the exact interaction that we saw on the website. It's what we have here. It's just that simple. So all you have to do is just to do your prompting, and this Workshop plugin will just generate everything for you. So what do you think? Let's generate something else. So I'll head over to the website and I would like to add this progress bar that we have here. So flip this over and copy the prompt. You know what to do in this case. You go back to the plugin again run the plugin and impute this prompt we copied from the website to Ctrl and V, then run the plugin. Then need to do is normal thinking and running these lines of code on this background as you can see. So let's just take a chill pill in waiting for it. This was actually fast. It didn't even waste more than a minute. So I just like checking the code, but to just feel like a developer. So let me just take a look at how the codes are looking here. There's no any difference between the one that we saw before. So this is actually the preview of it. We cannot really see what it looks like until we add it to the design. I'm going to be pasting this particular scroll progress bar outside everything else of our desktop. So Ctrl X, then select the desktop and Ctrl and V. So it's at the down right here. I don't want it, I think this is it. I don't want it to be fixed at the down. I want it to actually to the top of the section, more like a navbar, but not really a navbar. On the properties menu, I will change it from relative to fixed. On these pins, I will set a pin of 788 above. I will deactivate it and activate the bottom pin and change the bottom pin to 0. So the reason for this is that I want it to be actually visible when we are making a scroll. So on the width, I'm going to change this to relative and change it to 100% here. So let's just preview how this is. So by previewing this, when we are trying to make a scroll, you can now see the interaction this progress bar is giving when we are scrolling. It's fixed at the bottom, is interactive. It's more like it's working with how I scroll on my design. We can customize the color. Let's just say I don't want the blue color. Going over to the properties menu, you can now see the scroll progress bar component. I can now tweak the color of whatever I want it to be. Maybe let's just go with this. And for the background of it, I want it to be same thing but a lighter one, so something like this. So let's just see how this is. So this is perfect. It's really beautiful. So this is how you can use this component called workshop to create high-end interactions without even writing a single line of code. So this is it. You can just go ahead to create your portfolio. Make sure you fill in all the sections. If you feel the other sections you would like to add on your design, you can just write one prompt on the Wireframer tool and it will generate that design for you. Setting applies for the workshop plugin. If there are interactions you would like to create, you can just describe them on the workshop plugin, or you go over to the website and pick any interaction that you like and copy the prompt and run it inside of Framer. So these are steps you can use to create your own portfolio without tweaking things around. So stop procrastinating and get to work. If you like content like this and you like to see more on your feed, smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to comment below what you want to see next on this channel. And until next time, keep designing.